And so England leading 1-0 for victory. It's all up to Major now. Can he do it? 200 not out of 5 balls. And that's it. He's done it. He's won the match.
Yes, indeed, Major the star, very much so, I fancy. Saving a penalty, plus those 12 goals in the closing seconds.
And as he comes onto the balcony now, the crowd rise to King John, the saviour of the nation, the hero of the hour.
You're listening to Today on Radio 4 with me, John Humphreys, in the studio.
And me, Brian Redhead, in the toy cupboard.
Friday, the 1st of January, 1993.
What? 93? What's happened to 92? My God, I've overslept.
Enough. Let's have the headlines. The CBI has published its gloomiest forecast to date, and it was announced today that after 1900 years, Scotland is to close.
What the hell's going on?
For the day with Rabbi Little Boy Blue. Good morning, Brian, and good morning, John.
Morning, Lionel.
You know, at this time of year when we come to our New Year's resolutions, I often find myself thinking we could do worse than look in the mirror and have the courage to say, well, look, nobody's perfect.
Speak for yourself, you sanctimonious old git.
Yes, that's a funny old phrase, isn't it? Sanctimonious old git.
Oh, God, where's Norma? Where am I? Where am I?
Number 10.
Who is number 1?
Ebenezer Good by the Seaman.
What do you want?
Leadership.
You won't get it. I can't have lost a whole year. Iraq? That was this year, wasn't it? Maastricht? My God, I better do something about that. Something really important. I wonder if it's still there. It is. It's still there. It's still there.
Batting quite superbly. And there's another one, that's 4 runs, and if he carries on playing this well, there's every chance he won't be picked for England.
Look here. Look. It would have been all too easy to just sit back and say, bugger Bosnia. Sort themselves out. So we did.
God, what's happening?
It's rather
Where's
like
my
Northern
cricket?
Ireland.
What's Douglas doing on there?
Now to round off New Year's Eve here on
Where's
Channel
the
4,
cricket?
some more smart-arse satire from the bloke we pinched from the BBC.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and as we enter 1993, we're privileged to bring you a New Year's message from the man in charge of the British economy, which I'll read to you now. Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Da ist Vorsitzender Neujahr mit dem scheißigen Norman Lamont, mit dem Dumpsten Daisy Basement Lodge, Sex Therapist, Nudge Nudge, Wink Wink, settled nicely.
Sounds like the work of S007.
Yes, Helmut Schlesinger, head of the Bundesbank and evil mastermind behind Spectre.
Yes, Spectre. Spreading panic amongst English currency traders in reserves and exchanges.
Yes, he mustn't get away with it. Panic spreading is Lamont's job. Any ideas?
Not since 1967, I'm afraid.
Norman Lamont is now appearing in The Last of the Summer Wine, starring alongside Michael Heseltine and John Major as those lovable old codgers, compo, in compo, and totally in compo. Yes, that was the year that was. And tonight, we'll be looking at the highlights. With a hand-picked team of experts. Sport, with Desmond Lynott. The Royal Year with Her Majesty the Queen. ready when you are with the knighthood, Mum. Thank you. And economic policy with, well, who else?
Well, what a vintage year. what a vintage year for cock-ups. Not all of them metaphorical. How nice it was to get a card this year bearing a picture of the cabinet with a message inside, Merry Christmas from Benetton. But how much nicer it would have been if the Conservative election broadcast had given us a more honest picture of the bloke we'd be dealing with.
Well, to see John, you'd think this is a bloke who could cope with anything. And he can't. I remember we were going through the borrowing requirement in the bookmakers. He said he had a horse running in the 2:30 called Black Wednesday. He said it couldn't lose. I asked why not. He said, because I just put 12.5 billion quid on it. That's ludicrous. It's got 3 legs and it's a donkey. And he said, you're right, Ken, I'll put some more money on it.
John's always full of surprises. I remember in the Maastricht debate, he was determined to take the lead and drive it through the Commons. And then, just as we were heading for the lobby, he said, well, better wait and see what the Danes do. He's got that quality that one finds in all the truly great comedians. Danger. The feeling that at any moment things could go horribly wrong. And you know, on the whole, they do.
I'm shagging this bird. So, can we do this another time? Go away.
What you see is what you get. But let us be positive. Said to me once, privately, Mike, see those miners? I said, where? He said, precisely. They're all out of work and import more expensive coal from Germany. I said, that would be a tough decision. Wrong, but tough. He said, exactly. Any fool can make a right decision, but how much tougher it is to steam headlong into the wrong one. Like that in a chap. Hated it a bloody minister. John Major is, and I use the word resentfully, a survivor. Bastard.
Hello. Another glorious sunny day all over the entire nation, except for the cloudy bit. As this current spell of really rather dry rain continues to sweep the country. Ooh, sweep, nice, clean country. Right, temperatures remain in the high 10s, much above the seasonal average under Labour. Well, the thermometer, a constant, lovely, jubbly Fahrenheit. That's, ooh, no vest for me, centigrade. For green shoots. Don't be misled by the chart, because if we look at the seasonally adjusted picture, it looks like this. There it is, ooh, paradise as far as the eye can look closer. Camera 3, thanks. Ooh. So it looks like this lovely, warm government we've all been enjoying will continue indefinitely. A little long-term outlook then. This, nice and warm and hot forever and ever and ever. Amen. Dip, dip, dip. My little ship sails across the ocean. You are it.
The election kept us glued to our television screens long into the morning after, when the BBC brought us the final results, Channel 4 analysed the changes, and TVAM showed us repeats of Dastardly and Muttley. Yeah, and on Newsnight tonight, I'm joined by a man who very kindly agreed to be interviewed by someone more intelligent. Mr. Kinnock, you were the leader of the Labour Party for longer than many of us care to look up. So, why did you vote Conservative?
I don't know. It's that British disease, you know. You get your pen poised next to the Labour candidate's name, and all of a sudden at the last, it just goes, you know. Then, of course, there were John Smith's great tax plans. Yeah. Can you explain those? No. That's why I voted Tory. But I have to say, the great success was the victory rally. Yes, but you lost the election. As I say, a great success. The week before the election, people came up to me, they said, Neil, there's no way that you can lose this election. And that became the challenge. That became the challenge. That was it. The Conservatives had bought a brilliant campaign. Brilliant campaign. They'd made John Major look so stupid. The soapbox, the trip to Brixton.
It's still there. It's still there.
The only thing we could do was to make me look even more stupid.
That's all I say to you. Go back to your constituencies and prepare for opposition.
Where the hell's my cricket? What is this?
I'll tell you what our job is. Our job is to create a strategy for recovery that will lift people back into jobs and this country back into growth.
Did I really say that?
Have you seen Kinnock lately? I mean, he's looking ever so thin. Yeah, he must be a victim of passive voting. During the election, Margaret Thatcher took a back seat and proceeded to drive from it. I know, she's become like politics' answer to Geoffrey Boycott.
No, don't do that. Get off the back foot. Got to get forward with Europe. Got to drive. Got to nudge and push and graft. Then scoot off to America and pretend you're still Prime Minister.
I know, Norman Tebbit turning into Harry Enfield. Oh, you don't want to do that. Yes, well, the government's obviously in pretty deep doo-doo. John Cole, are you surprised?
No, au contraire. Let's not forget the Conservatives went into this election with their financial policy discredited, facing a massive borrowing requirement and unanimously divided over Europe. So it's a bit of a rum-do to criticise for delivering the incompetence they promised on the hustings.
Well, I don't know about you, but that was John Cole. Malcolm Rifkin's got a silly voice. He joins me now. Mr. Rifkin, you're Defence Secretary. Does the name Yugoslavia mean anything at all?
Well, no, you see, I mean, the thing we must do is to ensure that the toughest action is targeted against the right people. Refugees, immigrants, and those naive enough to think that because we recognise Bosnia in April, we should stop the Serbs from bombing the crap out of it now.
Yes, so are you in any sense embarrassed by the policy failures at home?
Well, if by that you mean a totally different question, then I'd be forced to say that you've totally misunderstood the workings of the Conservative Party. The purpose of the Conservatives is to win elections. What they do between times is, with the greatest of respect, none of your business.
Mr. Rifkin, go away. The BBC is now facing its own coal crisis, ever since the funny Irish one retired. However, we've still got Peter Snow, but it's not all bad news.
For heaven's sake.
It isn't bad news at all, because it's just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun, just a bit of fun, as the Minister said to the actress. I'll be there covering all elections with the very latest in state-of-the-art thingamybobs left over from other programmes. All courtesy of the not very special effects department. Back in April, I was there with the old swingometer. Remember that? There it is over there. If it went that way, it's John Major. If it went that way, it was Neil Kinnock. If it went that way, Paddy Ashdown. In November for the American election, rather more complicated, rather more sophisticated. I know I always say that, but it does seem to justify the expense. So, there it is, the fruit machine, the very latest model from Fisher-Price, and there they are, George Bush, Bill Clinton, and the Walt Disney character on the end. There you see lemon, bananas, and there it is. Well, so far, so what? On to the next election, it's the big one over there in the former Soviet Union, and if I can just get this up over here, our most sophisticated model yet. Yes, there it is, an orange crate, 2 bottles of Tizer, an alarm clock radio, a set of matching saucepans, and a cuddly toy. Gosh, you're thinking he's really done it now? Totally wasted our time. And you're right, but If we study it carefully, we see it's unwieldy, cumbersome, very, very complicated, and a bit of a mess. But that's Russia for you. And if that's not a fair representation, then I'm a monkey's uncle. And just in case, here's a little something for my nephew. But it's never that simple. If we go to the chart, there we are. It's all about me. Me up here, there we are, talking down to you, down. There we are. Here are the different levels. Here we are. Average viewer here. Just down below her is her husband. And then further down, way, way down, below Mike Morris, way down here, past the amoeba, way down, right off the chart, altogether, we come to gladiators.
And the gladiators tonight are... So... Narcissus. Boy. And the first game tonight, the toughest of all, is Maastricht. And here's a contender, Norman Tebbit from Chingford. He has to win over the audience while the gladiators try and distract them.
And if I may say so, Prime Minister, look at the kind of people we'll be forced to deal with if we go ahead with this Maastricht Treaty. They've taken our threepenny bit and little lions off eggs. What will they get their grubby hands on next, Mr. Chairman? That's what I want to ask you this afternoon. Bobbies on bicycles, 2x2, Westminster Abbey, red cheeks on the little children, Marmite soldiers, Earl Grey tea. Be safe. No. Mushy peas, steak and kidney pie. Sunday afternoons in front of highway with Harry Seeker. Don't let the bastards get away with it.
Where the hell's my cricket?
It seems the year was dominated by sex, lies, and audio tape. And the Sun newspaper today published a new tape of an intimate and loving conversation between the Queen and Prince Philip. The palace today dismissed it as a cruel hoax.
Bloody royal separation. They're like buses. You wait 30 years for one and 3 of them come along at once. None of them's the one you bloody want. Whatever will the wife say?
What a year. It started with a tax on my family and ended with a tax on my income. What was one big happy family now has more X's than a pool's coupon. But one sees everywhere how the stress of modern living affects the family. Take this ordinary couple, seen here on a state visit. For obvious reasons, their identities have been concealed. The future Miss Sarah Ferguson will shortly be leaving us to become honorary president of the Automobile Association. One gathers she's always on for a tow job. At least she knows a man who can. Our visit to Dresden this autumn was marred by protest. The German people I know have long memories of that fateful night, and it was perhaps insensitive of Mummy to unveil a memorial to the man who led that attack, Jeff Hurst. I have agreed to pay income tax reluctantly. I beg your pardon, recently. And I shall shortly be consulting my financial advisor. Well, one must take one's pleasures where one can. Our schedule for next year will include an extensive visit to the remaining states of the Commonwealth, followed in the afternoon by the state opening of the personal equity plan. Other plans will include the first of a regular series of state visits to the royal solicitors. Royal divorces are very expensive, but then they're worth it. But you know who'll end up paying for it? That's right, us. The taxpayers. In November, the public tuned in their millions to watch the latest It's a Royal Knockout.
And they're off and they to get all the paintings out and and the Italian school, and the constables. and my goodness, oh, the Queen's playing a joker. She's got no insurance.
In conclusion, that week taught us there's nothing like coming home to a real fire. Especially when you don't have to pay for it. Don't you just love being in control?
Hi girls, Des here. And when you've seen the size of my footage, it's offer on the table time. Meanwhile here, lots to come. Vinnie Jones, still a few grand short of that FA fine. He'll be along to talk about his latest video, Soccer's Hard Up Men. Titles on CFAX. Just time to tell you, the same company have also released a new tape. Could be the big one, this one. Soccer's Nice Men, packed with such great names as Gary Lineker, Trevor Brooking. There. It's sheer entertainment. Not. Meanwhile, over at Twickenham, England and South Africa, a bit of a spat about the old national anthems. Bill McLaren's got some details for us.
That's right, Des. Well, they finally decided that the England supporters will be singing God Save the Queen, while for the South Africans, that great Stevie Wonder hit, Ebony and Ivory. They'll be dancing in the streets of Soweto tonight, I tell you.
And your commentator there was there. Just a couple of words on British tennis. Jeremy Bates. Boxing news, Justin. Frank Bruno now has to take on Mike Tyson's last opponent, so he'll be going 10 rounds with Miss Black America. Next up, Formula One, and joining us, tell you what, it's Nigel Mansell.
Yeah, hello, Des.
So, when did you think things were going wrong with Frank Williams?
Yeah, well, basically, you know, Frank called me in, he asked me how many sugars I wanted in my tea. I felt totally insulted, you know. I mean, as far as I was concerned, we had an agreement on the number of spoonfuls. And then I suddenly discovered that Frank had already spoken to Alan Prost and secretly agreed how many sugars he'd have. Plus, you know, Prost has been offered whatever he wanted, basically. You know, his own mug, chocolate hobnob, even one of those little plastic stirrers.
So is there any other explanation, you think?
Well, I don't want to talk about it, really, but I think I couldn't really have asked for a better crew. You know, they were dedicated, great support, marvellous cooks, terrific in bed. I think being such a great professional outfit, it made it so much easier for me to walk out on them.
Nigel Mansell, of course. Formula One's Mr. Happy. And he's competing against Nick Faldo, Graham Gooch, and a snooker table in this year's Sports Lack of Personality. Now, we heard from John Motson earlier. Hey, tell you what, I've got some rather bad news for you, I'm afraid. He's on the line now. World Chess Championships.
Yes, Des, it's dead good here. No, really, Des. Well, Spassky, he's the Russian one, Des. He's playing Fischer, he's the American one, Des. And Spassky moved one of his pieces. I think it was the funny squiggly one, Des. And after half an hour, Fischer moved one of his. And it was dead good and exciting, and they both moved a bit, and then they each moved another bit, and then they stopped. And it's been so exciting, Des, they've actually forgotten to change ends. Oh, I say, and Fischer's had a man sent off. I wonder what that was for. Oh, my goodness, now one of Spassky's men's gone off. Oh, they sent another one off. Oh, my goodness, oh, Desi, there's another one gone. Oh, honest, it's dead good. Oh, Des, oh, crikey, I wet them.
The top boxers at present are well into their winter training. Blink, blink, dazzling smile. Winter training, or as it's now known, pantomime. But it's not always the best preparation, as Frank Bruno discovered against Mike Tyson. Frank, mate, why do you think you lost?
Well, like no one shouted behind you, you know what I mean?
So, who's next for the Principal Boys tights? Jack and the Beanstalk, starring Chris Eubank.
Idle Jack. There you are. Did you take the cow to market and swap it for the magic beans?
No, I swapped it for cash for you because I need the money. See, I need the money for my lifestyle, see, because that's what I want, you know. Because I have to have money, that's what I want.
No, I'm not. I'm not, not going to do. I'm not going to do the one about Prince Charming, because this is Aladdin. No, you didn't accept a new lamp for your old one, did you?
No, I swapped it for money, because I need money. My wife Karen, and I need the money.
So, Mr. Whittington, can I call you Dick? I think I can. It's shorter than 2 Scotch eggs and a banana. Still a bit of a mouthful, though. I understand. Wash your minds out. Now, I understand you heard London was paved with gold. Have you just arrived with your cat?
No, I got a bulldozer, because, I need money, because I dig out the pavement.
Football coming up when Sky give us the leftovers with a match you won't have seen, of course, on ITV. The result again, for those of you who missed it, BBC and Sky 1, soccer fans without a satellite dish, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the own goal of the year competition, David Miller.
What happened to him? Oh, I remember. Come to think of it, I don't really want to. Good God! Central office? What the hell's been going on? Send me someone who knows what's been happening. Or just send me anyone.
If Miller was as good a minister as they say, surely they should have suspended him, like in football.
Well, it's your own fault, David. I can't get my glasses out. I'll blame you for that as well. You're going to have to miss 3 internationals and the opening night of the Magic Flute. Now go to your room.
Fat chance of that. The amazing thing was that Major let him go at all. The thing is, in Britain, it doesn't really matter if you run the country badly, but if you run Radio 4 badly, heaven help you. First thing you know, mass demonstrations by the cast of My Music. Dennis?
We shall overcome.
Frank?
We shall not be moved. Wager. La.
Next thing you get Tony Benn standing at Speaker's Corner saying, well, what you want, you see, is your women, sir. Move back to your original slot, because I'd be there, 2 o'clock, doing my ironing before Prime Minister's question. And what have we got now? The afternoon play. I mean, nothing but misery, sex and depravity. I can get that at home, thank you very much. And if I want music, I've got Henry Kelly on Classic FM. That's a marvellous piece of music there. That was Dvorak. Doesn't say who it was by. Television, on the other hand, continues to go from bad to Noel Edmonds. The BBC promising us more accountability, which means more accountants. The chief executive at Carlton has actually said that ITV Current Affairs should combine the journalism of That's Life with the audience appeal of Jeremy Beadle. Well, hold me back, punters. On Sticky Moments tonight, we'll be putting the Maxwell brothers in the hot seat, the head of British Telecom in the gunge tank, and probing a spokesman for BCCI, the bank that likes to say, what money? What it means is that everything becomes a game show, because they get the ratings. And, well, where do you draw the line?
All right, my lads. Welcome to Brucey's Crime Watch UK. Nice to sue you. Marvellous. And the first reconstruction is a serious assault. So let's meet the 8 who are going to violate. And we've got 2 minutes to rob the sub-post mistress. Starting now. Break the door down. Get the money. The lines written on the counter. Now the gun. Other way round. Now the mugging, yes. Oh, didn't they do well? Yes. Let's see how they scored PC Ford. The Evans of Cardiff got 6 years, and the Smiths of Droitwich got 4. Good game. And do remember, if you're watching at home, please don't have nightmares. Please don't have. Life is the name of the sentence, and I ought to share the cell with you. Marvellous.
Good evening. True life crime that particularly appealed to me for tonight's programme makes gruesome reading, but a bloody good film. For truth is often stranger than fiction, and a darn sight cheaper. I must warn you that viewers of a more sensitive nature may find some of the following scenes harrowing and offensive. We hope you enjoy them. At precisely 2:15 on November the 3rd, a couple were parked, making love in a quiet room, unaware that only 10 miles away, and not 3 weeks previously, a crime had taken place that would change not only their lives, but also their choice of evening's viewing. For reasons of sensitivity, parts of what you're about to see have been grossly exaggerated. It was early morning in the urban hell they call Bayswater, as housewife Mary Bush, whom we refer to as Miss Whiplash, was about to leave her home, the bedsit of blood. As she prepared to set out on that last lonely walk of death, her only thoughts were of visiting her attractive and conveniently photogenic sister, Mildred. But she never got there. For little did she realise that her coffee that morning had been poisoned. Though for the purposes of this reconstruction, we've had her stabbed instead. But the best was yet to come. For once news of her ordeal reached us, she was subjected to a callous and premeditated attack in which 2 men took it in turns to light her, while the other gang members wired her to a microphone and repeatedly filmed her. Yet, ladies and gentlemen, the question I put to you this evening is that the real crime was committed by the bloodthirsty old fart who gift-wrapped this personal tragedy to entertain you tonight. I thank you.
4 floors of office space still unlet, damn it. Only £35 a square foot. I'm robbing myself. Call it $27.50 and it's a deal. See your head office on the telly every night in a free advert. Oops, what a giveaway. Good evening, and here is tonight's news. But first, a summary of the news stories to look forward to later in the show. But before first, for a different angle on tonight's main story, we turn to camera 3. Main points. I'll be back in a minute. Missing you already. Tonight's top story. Thousands of viewers are still feared missing in the News at 10 ratings disaster. An ITN spokesman admitted today that the operation had cost a considerable amount of money, mostly in redundancy payments. And now, before the next rundown of stories still to come, a word from Julia Somerville.
Hello.
And there'll be more from Julia tomorrow when Focus on Britain looks at token women in the media. A special report compiled by Alistair Stewart.
News, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the flagship ITN. Its mission to boldly go where no viewer's been got before, but with better grammar.
Captain's Log, Stardate 1992. It's News Jim, but not as we know it.
Meanwhile, on the other side of Wicker's world in Somalia, people were quite literally dying to hear from us. Even as I speak, American troops are engaged on the first phase of what they call Operation Restore Hope, known by the Somalis as Operation About Bloody Time. For months, no food has got through to these remote areas. The only supplies to reach them have been 12 camera crews, 3 lighting generators, and a team of emergency sound engineers. So it's become known as the Forgotten Famine, perhaps because the attentions of the press were on more important issues.
Look at that. Just look at that.
Dreadful, sir.
Bloody colour balance has gone again. I think we should be doing something about these people.
Oh, we are, sir. We've kept the overseas aid budget to an absolute minimum, sir.
Oh, good. Maybe I'm not such a nice bloke after all.
I don't suppose you have a copy of that new book. It's, the blonde one, the thingy. Oh. Like a virgin. Always taking her kit off.
No luck, Dad. Never mind.
Good old yellow pages. We don't just help with the ordinary things in life like a blocked drain. We're there for the naughty things too.
Sex by Madonna? Oh, that's wonderful. Can you keep it for me? My name? Oh, yes. Bishop Casey.
Oh, hello. Another year, another towering performance from Gerard Depardieu as the fat bloke with the conch in 1492. Conquest of Paradise. The 1492 in question being not only the year, but the number of Columbus films I've had to sit through in the past 6 months, including the positively execrable Carry On Columbus. Laugh, I'd rather have my butter kissed. So from that to something the whole family can enjoy. Woody Allen. Do keep up. Film 94 by the time you get that joke. Oh, year 2. What's going to happen in the year 2000? Hello, welcome to Film 0. No. The whole family can enjoy Woody Allen back with a bang in a remake of Father of the Bride.
That is a gruesome and unconscionable. I can't believe they could. How could they take all the details of an intimate relationship and like expose it on primetime television? It's such a waste. Yeah, there was a whole movie there. A young innocent who wants to hit the sack with a movie star old enough to be her grandfather. Who does she think she is? Mia Farrow?
And on to the video releases. Coming soon, Paddy Ashdown in Sleeping with the Secretary. Remake of the 1987 Cecil Parkinson classic. This year's sequel to Home Alone, called Home a Repossession. Liquidator 2, in which a series of innocent businessmen receive a return visit from an aging vigilante, admirably played by the extravagantly over-upholstered John Harvey Jones. I've seen the director's cut, and believe me, it's a fortune. And Not Making Love 4, starring Stephen Fry, Cliff Richard and Prince Edward. Though not together. Also on the horizon, Ken Branagh's version of Frankenstein, in which a young fanatic creates a monster with a host of disparate parts, a part for Emma Thompson, a part for Tony Slattery, and a part for anyone else who happened to be in Cambridge on or about the time the crime was committed. Please do call, and don't have nightmares. Next week, I'll be back at the usual time of whenever they can fit me in. And finally, for that matter in conclusion, to our location report, which takes us on the set of Sunset Boulevard. Ah, yes, the inevitable remake, starring a woman who took the British film industry by storm in the 1980s by closing it down. So, Margaret, Maggie, Mags, if I may call you that, and in a sense, who cares? Can you tell us a little about the remake? In the original, the quite superfluously superannuated Gloria Swanson played a one-time star who wanted to make a comeback and failed.
Yes, but this version is completely different because I play a one-time politician who wanted to make a comeback and failed.
What first attracted you to the project?
I think the script. Yes, the script. There were so many wonderful lines. I'm still big. It's the politics that got small. Who have they got now? Just some nobody. They still want me. I get letters every day.
Do you really?
No, that was acting. It's just pretend, you see.
So, tell us a bit about the plot.
Oh, it's a marvellous story. She falls for this young man, becomes infatuated with him. She thinks she can trust him, but he betrays her and everything she believes in. I don't want to let the side down and give away what happens. But in the end, she shoots him.
So, do you have a fave moment from the film?
Yes, I think that wonderful climax. It was a first for me. I just want to say to you all how happy I am to be making this comeback. And after this one, there'll be another comeback and another comeback. I'm ready for my close-up now, Mr. Saatchi.
And so I say to you, my children, don't listen to Sinead O'Connor. That last album's crap. I will find it in my heart to forgive her for defacing my photograph. But for a remix on track 4, no way! Ariane dudes!
Deeply dippy, I'm deeply dippy about the latest survey of industrial trends. Deeply mad, I'm deeply mad about the rate of public sector borrowing. Sorry, I've got that wrong. I'm too useless for my job. Sorry. Don't talk, just lie. The only way to be. Can I join in? No. Don't talk, just lie. It's the only way to be.
Yeah, that's Oops, Sad John, the only record worse than his own.
So, let me get this straight. I won the election. What were the other good points?
Good points. What is the European Community, sir?
Oh, yes. What's good about that?
Well, we're no longer president, sir.
Oh, yippee. 6 months of pretending to be a European leader. So, what else?
Well, it is really rather difficult, sir. Oh, Mansell. He won the Formula 1 championship, sir.
Did he? I've always found him rather dull myself. Things at home are okay. Currency reserves should be in a good state.
Yeah, well, not since you blew them all on Black Wednesday, sir.
When was that?
Well, between Black Tuesday and Black Thursday, sir.
Still, I'm popular.
Well, you see, there is a feeling, sir, just a feeling that you're never really around when your country really needs you, sir.
No. Froth and bubble. I fear you'll find that's not the case. Headingley, second innings, England in trouble. I was there. Women's Relay Day, Barcelona. I was there. England, South Africa, Twickenham. I was there. In fact, I think I recorded that one. Yes, there's no doubt about that.
Oh.
A great day.
Look at that, sir. Iraq.
Yes, no, I didn't know.
Iraq, I've forgotten about that, sir.
I've never seen that. No.
I think you'll find there's some pretty conclusive evidence, actually, sir, if you have a look at this tape.
I'm not watching.
I think you'll discover that...
I can't hear. No, I'm not listening. La, 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 la. There's no doubt we'll be able to find a buyer for this one. Anyone in Baghdad want to buy a gun? Same terms as before?
Some people say I want to be all things to all men. Don't know who they are, but I have to say, I agree with them.
I did everything I could to show you I didn't want the job. Come on, don't you guys recognize a joke when it's sworn in as vice president? Listen, no more years.
George Bush back in Washington, that's what I call capital punishment. As governor of Arkansas, I supported the death penalty. I've seen death row. I've been inside a gas chamber. But I did not inhale.
You voted for Reagan in 80 and 84. You voted for me in 88. That's 12 years of Republican government. Vote for me this year and we can start to rebuild America. But a vote for the Democrats will place a huge burden on the Justice Department. So little time, so much to shred.
Another sure sign a government's got something to hide is when they roll out Kenneth Clarke. And he's been on more programmes than Tony Slattery, and he's not as funny. Well, Clive, I think we should cover Norman Lamont's bottom with cling film till we can't hear a word he's saying.
Very good, very good, very good. Hold on, sorry, next one again. Right, very good. Sorry. So whose line is appearing on every interview going? Paul Burton?
Oh, there's a wild stab in the dark. Is it Ken Clarke? And your occupation?
Minister for appearing on television.
And your chosen subject?
Carrying the can for John Major. He chose that. It makes it impossible for me ever to stand against him.
Yeah, okay, all right. Thanks for joining us here live on the Word. And right, all right, Ken. Like, what we'd like to know, right, is like you're your Home Secretary, like. So what are you good at typing then, or what? Oh, yeah, that was the word. Yeah, and the word was thick, I suppose. Yeah, one day maybe they'll stick two Terry Christians together and make one long plank. Oh, it's a thought. So, the next word to define, Maastricht. As if you couldn't guess, it's Ken Clarke's turn.
Maastricht is a vital document for the future of Europe.
Oh, pish and periwinkles and pox on you, sir. You're bluffing, aren't you? You haven't read it.
So for tonight's star prize, the chance to keep your job. Which government minister hasn't read the Maastricht Treaty? Is it A? Ken Clark? Is it milk? Is it B? Is it Ken Clark? Or 3, a wild one. Is it Ken Clark? You know, what surprises me most about some public figures is how they got the job in the first place. Oh. Now then, let's hear what says, "Dear Jim, there, you sad man. I wasn't a brilliant foreign secretary. I deserted the side when the going got rough. I'm arrogant, inflexible and stubborn. Please could you fix it for me so as I could sort out Yugoslavia? Yours, David Owen. P.S. I suppose the title's out the question." Here's another one. "Dear Jim, seeing as out like we've got all these like bogus doctors and what social workers and like what not there, please could I be a bogus chancellor? Oh, well, what's the betting? It'll cause a panic. There."
Shut up! Cast them loose down on the floor like my pants at a party. Some of them winners, some of them working for the Treasury. Yes, well, betting now on the EMS exchange rate, Diamond Jubilee Stakes, heavy overnight betting on the Hang Seng, Sterling opened 100 to 30, Burlington Bertie rose 10.30, then fell 2 points against the dollar. That's the day's steamer, straight down the pan. 2-1 favourite from Thor's, smart money's on the German mark, silly money's on Lamont in the blinkers, overweight carrying £7 billion. Resignation, the very favourite. Wouldn't bet on it, would you? Slow moving on the franc, just pennies and halfpennies, early Delors again. 9-2 in a stew, punt sold down the river. Out goes the Escudos, 7-4, 10-1 Peseta, 2 Peseta, 3 Peseta. All they sold that day. 5-1 high interest rates, 2:30 higher still. 4 o'clock, even the council won't take it away. Sterling's pulled up short in the final furlong, down from 2.84. That's against the Matabele Gumbo Bean. Sterling scratched, all bets are off. Rule 4 doesn't apply. What rules do? The bear had Lamont by the balls, tried to buck the market. Now look at us. We're completely bucked.
Are you trying to be funny? Because if so, you can cut it out. I've had enough of problems, nothing but problems all the time. I wasn't put here to solve them. I did nothing as Chancellor, I achieved nothing as Foreign Secretary. It's a bit much to expect me to do something now. My job's to be nice, and if I'm not nice enough, they can bloody well find someone else. You wouldn't even back me over Maastricht, some of them.
I think they've got confidence in you, sir. It's just your ability to negotiate a deal.
Look, I'm in charge. I'm Prime Minister. I look the part. My face is my fortune.
That's true, sir. Yeah, it certainly cost us $12 billion to save it.
Look, get out, now! I'm taking over. This is the most important year in my career. The Australians are touring.
Major actually revels in all this. He says he enjoys the cut and thrust of politics. He's not paid to enjoy it. It's not like a ride at Alton Towers.
No, I especially like the bit where you go round and round and you have to hold on really tight.
John, that's the turnstile.
Right, Lewis, let's consider the evidence. We have a joyrider who's taken a vehicle from Mrs. Thatcher, proceeded to drive it at 120 miles an hour the wrong way up the motorway before executing a U-turn over the central reservation and tucking in behind a Danish lorry in the slow lane to Europe.
That's an elegant metaphor, sir.
Of course it is, Lewis. What do you think, Taggart?
Well, I think you need an expert witness to look at his character. You need one of the you know, the doctors that tells you what's going on inside people's heads. You know, like that Jonathan Miller guy.
I think what one finds with John Major is the repetition, a sort of leitmotif, a pattern. One sees a pattern emerging of misjudgment. One thinks of Mellor, one thinks of pit closures, one thinks of Sterling, followed in a sense by an almost pathological stubbornness, followed in a sense by a complete volte-face.
What, sir?
He did a Huey, Lewis.
So, the reconstruction of 1992. Were you in the area? Perhaps you unwittingly played some part in it, or know someone else who did. Perhaps you've been offered the odd couple of months by a disreputable timeshare salesman. If so, please do call, but don't have nightmares. It can't get any worse. Good night.
John, this is Michael Heseltine. Just to wish you good luck with the council tax. I think you might need it.